got it on the Bro Force Squad podcast, doing a Broback review on the summer classic, The Sandlot. I'm Matt, he's Jeff, grading this movie, of course, on our 5 criteria: acting, story, best scene, impacts on pulp culture, and rewatchability. So first, for the acting and cast, Jeff, who you got for the summer classic?
Hey Matt, so we always talk about child actors and how difficult they are to cast. And The Sandlot, I think, has set a template that is impossible to reproduce.
Every single one was great.
They really were. And everyone had a role that they were not given too much to do to where it worked. So a few guys that I want to specifically point out. Obviously, Tom Geary as Smalls has become basically like an iconic role. It's like the fish out of water. Let me learn my surroundings. How can we forget Mike Vitar as Benny the Jet Rodriguez? Obviously a great performance, but again, not that dialogue driven. It's just his chemistry with Smalls. But I think case in point, how all these they took a bunch of role players and put them on a championship team.
It's almost like the Pistons with Ben Wallace.
Eerily, but with less fighting with the fans in the stands. Shane Obesky plays Tommy the Repeater.
Yeah.
And even like him with like his few lines, and I can't remember which kid it is in the scene where the vacuums blow up. But like they pick their spots and guys roll out and do their job. And so, I mean, the most recognizable actors now, Dennis Leary and James Earl Jones, have very small roles. So the movie doesn't lean on them, and it does a great job of bit parts kind of playing bigger than they actually are.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Patrick Renna. And how this dude didn't turn into be, not like a Leo DiCaprio, but you know what I'm saying? Like someone that was a child actor but also had a big acting fucking career in his prime or in his older age. This dude...
He played Porter, right?
He played Porter. He was also in the Big Green. But in Son-in-Law, he's a sun stealer with prime Pauly Shore.
I forgot he was
and
in
he's
Son-in-Law.
fucking great in that movie, too. And in this movie, every time he's on, I laughed. I'm like, man, this kid basically is like the fucking Goldberg and Mighty Ducks or heavyweights, where I'm like, okay, this kid's just like a cut above all these other actors, these kid actors, because this kid can fucking act. And I'm very surprised that his career didn't blossom from this. I guess he was just kind of like the Jake Harper from 2.5 Men. Like, okay, he's a chubby kid, he was cute,
I hate that analogy.
And now he can't fucking act anymore. But he was fantastic in this as Ham. Every scene he is, it's almost like a Heath Ledger Joker where I'm just drawn to him.
Porter is the most, the character you remember the most. He has all the great lines. And at this age, to be like an 11 or 12-year-old actor and be that hilarious without overacting is difficult. See Drake and Josh.
All right, let's go into the story, because I think this has one of the greatest stories ever.
I think the most incredible thing about this story, coming fresh off a rewatch, is how the actual plot device of the signed Babe Ruth baseball getting into the backyard where the beast is literally does not happen until about the hour mark.
Yeah.
So this movie is just character building for the first hour, and in no way ever does it feel slow or like it's like treading water. Like, it just works. And that's hard to do. I can't think of another movie where we don't actually get the plot going till about 60% of the way into the movie, and I'm not pissed off. So that's a tip of the cap to, number one, the world building, like it's a period piece, and number two, how awesome these characters are to see. Like, it makes you want to be a kid again in the fucking summer, just hanging out with your friends and getting into trouble.
Storytelling has so many layers to it, and there's so many different ways of doing it. You know, a movie can just start storytelling from the beginning, the first second, and just build and build and build till the third act. This one, though, doesn't really tell a story until the third act. It basically just tells you the characters, hey, this is each character, this is kind of what they're doing. And then they just slap a story on us, almost like a Disney Channel episode.
You almost
at the
forget,
very end.
Oh, we don't really have a plot.
Yeah, and they do it, and it doesn't seem rushed or forced or anything at all, and it seems so smooth, and you don't ask for more time or need any less time or anything, so it's a very unique... I can't even compare it to a different movie.
It's so simple.
It's weird.
That they're able to do all the character stuff in an hour, and then when they give you the story, you're like, oh, this is fucking fun.
I would say it's almost Tarantino-esque, where it's like, we're just going to do character development, and then the third act, like, I'm going to tell a story really quick if no one minds. It's almost like that. Rewatching this from a Bro Force Squad point of view was very interesting, where I'm like, dude, this story, there is no really plot. until once the Babe Ruth ball gets hit over the fence, and they were like, okay, now we're going to tell basically just a quick 30-minute story, and they did it perfectly.
I know nothing about an editing room because apparently you're not allowed in them when you're drunk, quote unquote. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I can imagine whoever edited this movie got the rough cut and they were like, I don't know, man, like there's not much plot here, like, and all this character stuff is so badass. I'm just going to keep it as is.
So moving right on to best scene, as we say, every movie has a best scene. Great movies have about 10 to 12 best scenes, and I think this movie is one of those that have about 10 to 12 best scenes. So what is your best scene?
All right, so I have a best scene, then I'll let you tell yours, and then I have an honorable mention that you just reminded me of. So my favorite scene is the night game on the 4th of July under the fireworks with the America, and then the pause. Oh, America. And just
Ray Charles, wasn't it?
I know, but that just makes me like, God damn it, I wish I wasn't 32 years old anymore, because being a kid and seeing the world from that perspective, like that night that they're having, I remember those nights where like you had your whole life ahead of you and you were like, dude, fuck it. We're just going to have fun tonight. Nothing else matters. We don't have any bills or responsibilities. And it was really nostalgic for me. I didn't obviously grow up in the 60s, but seeing this movie in the 90s as a kid, you relate exactly to what they're going through, just being with your friends. So the night game on the 4th of July with the Ray Charles America song, incredible scene.
Mine is I would say the plot, they still built up the plot about, the dog, the beast, and everything like that. So once they finally knocked on James Earl Jones's door, that's my favorite one, because old school baseball guys, I've been in those dens before with the pennants and the pictures and just drinking beer and talking about like old school games.
I just want to chew your ear and tell you old stories.
It's fun to talk baseball, and this guy like got his eyes basically taken out. I guess every eye.
He was crowding the plate.
Fastball. I mean, he deserved it, right? That was back in the day when you could fucking throw high and tight if someone was crowding the plate.
That's some fucking prick ref telling.
But also back then, man, that's a huge get, because this movie was very under budget. Dennis Leary wasn't a big thing. I know the mom was from Indiana Jones, but she wasn't like a big actress. But that's a big get to get James Earl Jones, one of the greatest actors ever, to fucking come in and just do a quick 10 to 20 minute scene. And he played it fucking perfectly. And I don't know, man. That's just my favorite scene, because I just love to sit around and talk baseball.
I love that one. And James Earl Jones being in it in the mid-90s legitimized the movie in a sense where people were like, all right, well, this...
Fucking Darth Vader.
Right. Like, you see it before you go in, you're like, well, it won't be a total piece of shit if he agreed to do it.
Yeah.
My honorable mention that you reminded me of when you were talking about Porter... The scene where they play their rival across town and he's just behind the plate fucking with them while they're batting. Is that your sister in left field?
I'd also say the chew, whenever they're chewing tobacco.
I love that scene, but the vomit is like almost too authentic. It fucks me up.
So I think this is an easy one. Impacts on pop culture. Honestly, this movie came out when we were probably like in 4th or 5th grade. I loved it. I still don't think it's a baseball movie. It's a great movie with baseball in it. But, I mean, impacts on pop culture, it holds up, man. I mean, this is still a movie that's on TV all the time. I think it's a movie right in there with Home Alone that on, after Thanksgiving, you start Christmas movies. Beginning of summer, beginning of baseball season, you should probably pop this movie in. It's a great watch and a very fun watch.
Yeah, and we've done we've done commentaries on Angels in the Outfield, the Rookie of the Year. A lot of times you go back and revisit these movies, and they're always nostalgic, and they never won't be. But you're like, oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
And never once in rewatching The Sandlot did we feel that. So it does not rely on nostalgia to be good. It's just a really well-made movie. It's hard to say it's concise when you don't get into the plot till an hour in, but it is. There's not a lot of like shit in it that you're like, dude, you don't even need that. Or then there's really everything in it that seems over the top. It's told through the perspective of 12-year-old kids. So obviously, like, you tell tall tales to your friends. Like, that's how you saw the world. And that's, I think, what gives it its appeal, is the way that it's story told.
So, rewatchability, this is easy for me. This is one of the most rewatchable movies ever. And this is simple. As a 90s kid, there's still 90s movies I like that I watched as a kid. But when I watch them, sometimes you'll get weird looks and you got to explain, hey, I'm watching this because...
Like Space Jam.
Because it's so stupid.
Right.
And I like it. This movie, though, is honestly like Stand By Me. It was like, dude, this is actually a good fucking movie on top of it being like a kid's movie. So rewatchability, anytime this is on, fuck yeah, I will watch it till I gotta go to dinner or go do whatever the fuck I want to do. Or just like today, man, Disney Plus, I'll fucking pop this on. Absolutely. We were looking at the the kids movies, and we're like, this is the best kids movie on Disney Plus right now. Period.
Easily. It's kind of cool because it's a movie from the 90s but set in the 60s. So for us at the time, it was like a rare glimpse into like either some of our parents' childhood or like right around the time where they were born or grew up in. And for rewatchability, like you said earlier, if you're not watching this once a year in the spring when the summer's about to start and baseball season's about to kick off, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
Shame on you. Or you're somehow listening to us from North Korea.
Right, where they don't allow media, which thank God you were able to hear us. Get food soon. God bless your soul. Yeah, this is a once a year. I know Banner tends to exaggerate how many times he watches. This is an 11 times
This
a year
is
watch.
easy 11 time a year thing with a fucking 40-hour-a-week job and a newborn.
You're
I don't
and
understand where he finds
kids,
the time.
There's no way. But this is one you got to watch at least once a year when baseball starts. And after you see it, you'll be like, damn, dude, like, I don't at all regret that this is in my rotation. I can at least say for sure I watch 2 movies every year, come hell or high water, this and Christmas Vacation, and I'll stand by that till I die.
This is a baseball Stand By Me. It's the same time period. It's as good a story. It's a little more poppy than Stand By Me, which is fine for me. It's a little more 90s, but...
Stand By Me's heavy, though, so that's not saying too
I would
much.
say we'll have to do a Bro Force Squad, what we believe are perfect movies, but this, Home Alone, Ocean's 11, they're perfect movies.
For what they're trying to do,
yeah, for what they're trying to do, perfect movies. So there you go, guys. We've been the Bro Force Squad. Check out our website, broforcesquad.com. We're on YouTube. We're on Anchor. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. So subscribe to us on all those platforms. Check us out on there. We're also on Twitter. So tweet at us any questions you want us to answer on air at Broforce Squad. Until then, I'm Matt. He's Jeff. And we will see you around the baseball diamond.
That wimpy deer?